What if you couldn't see the medicine in your hands? For thousands of visually impaired Ghanaians, this is everyday reality. And a single mistake with the wrong pill or the wrong dose can cost a life. We built the solution. Ntentan AI, an accessibility first healthcare assistant for visually impaired. It scans and identifies prescriptions. It gives them emergency alert. It tells them the kind of medication they are having and schedule their medications for them. No reading, no guessing, no depending on anyone. Let us show you what we got. So this is the homepage of Ntentan. We have the scan medicine, today's med, and the Ntentan AI. And we also have the caregiver or the helpers details, which helps the user get more information about this. Now, let's get to meet the Medi Scan from Ntentan.
I found Lufart DS. It is to be taken 2 times a day. You are to take one in the morning and evening.
The scan menu from Ntentan reads the prescription, looks at the medication that has been prescribed to the person, tell the person at what time interval the person is supposed to take and what right dosage the person is supposed to take. All these things are being done by the voice assistant. It gives the visually impaired person all the details he needs on the platform without depending so much on any
The
other
evening.
person.
Solo cold in the evening. And capital in the evening.
So it get to scan some other medication and give feedback and tell the visually impaired person the kind of medications and how the person should take it and when the person should take it.
Please move the medication slightly up to reveal the full label. I found Solocold. It is to be taken 3 times a day. You are to take one in the morning, afternoon, and evening.
Now, the Ntentan AI assistant. So the Ntentan AI assistant, since we are dealing with visually impaired person, from our research from Ghana Blind Union, we are made to understand that they mostly depend on their talkback feature, and with their talkback feature, that gives them the autonomy on whatever they do on their phone. But it's a challenge when it comes to identifying basic medications and other stuff. So with Ntentan AI, it has the hand-free mode where you just get to speak to it, ask it any question. It takes total control over the application, give the user information. So over here,
Here are your medication.
I'm going to ask Ntentan AI about my medication, and it's going to plan and schedule based on what the physician or the pharmacist are prescribed to me. And whenever it is
Patients
time,
for today.
it's going to give me information and feedback on it.
A. Lufart DS, 1 units, morning 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., evening 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mixed tab, 1 units, morning 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., afternoon 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., evening 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Solocold, 1 units, morning 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., afternoon 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., evening 5 p.m.
So these are medication that were prescribed by the pharmacist. So Ntentan AI gives me all these details and information for me to know when to take them, how to take them, without anyone assisting me. These are the medications that were prescribed by the physician and which the system was able to schedule accordingly for me.
To 10 p.m. Capital, 1 units, morning 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., afternoon 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., evening 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Now, in Ntentan AI, I scheduled my medication and it has been stored rightly on my quick action. Anytime before it's time for me to take
Sure,
my
I can
medication,
help you add pair.
I will be giving the notification, the information, and everything in a voice mode, and also send alert to the caregiver for him to know when
Chat
it's
to your
time for me to
medications.
take my medication.
What is the dosage form? E.g., tablets, capsules, syrup.
So currently, Ntentan is taking requests, asking about the medications, talking to the physician or the caregiver, then talking about the kind of medication, when to take them, the dosages, and is scheduling all these things onto the platform for the visually impaired person. So whether the caregiver is present or absent, the visually impaired person is able to take the medication at the right time.
How many tablets per dose? And what time slots should you take it in? E.g., morning, afternoon, evening.
So currently, Ntentan is receiving the request from the user, which is the visually impaired person interaction with Ntentan. And with all this, Ntentan is scheduling everything on the
And how
platform
many
for him.
times per day should you take the paracetamol? I've saved your paracetamol prescription with the following details. Name, paracetamol. Dosage, 2 tablets. Frequency, 3 times per day. Time slots, morning 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., afternoon 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., evening 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
So Ntentan AI has actually scheduled all the medication for the user. So these are all the medications Ntentan scheduled on the platform for the visually impaired person, not to worry about it. Whenever it is time for the person to identify the drugs, you just need the scan made from our application and it will be able to identify the particular kind of medication and all. Now, another interesting feature of Ntentan AI is when a medication has not been prescribed to the visually impaired person, whenever the scan med is being used, it's able to tell whether that is a right medication prescribed to the person or not, and caution the person on what to do. So let's have a look at that.
Please hold the medication still so I can get a clearer view of the label. Thank you. I have successfully read the medication label. However, this medicine is not found in your saved medications.
So in turn time just made the user aware that this medication is not part of his medications. Another interesting thing about in turn time AI is we factored in, based on the research and interaction with Ghana Blind Union, we factored in all the feedback, ensuring that the tests are readable, the color and everything, to suit those who have low vision and those who are also color blind. We had all this integrated into the application to ensure that they have the freedom in using the platform. Another interesting thing too is for the caregiver. We get to schedule the caregiver information on the platform. So whenever there is an emergency, whenever there's anything that the visually impaired person needs, he just needs to activate the SOS and it sends a notification and information to the caregiver. We also have the tree version, since we are first of all starting locally in Ghana here, and most of the visually impaired person, according to the research, made us aware that they will be grateful if the application could what have the tree feature, since majority of them speak the tree language. So we have the Ntentan AI being able to what interact with its users in the tree. Everything it's able to do in English is also able to do it in Chi. Once you speak, it takes out the command. Now let's listen to some of the interesting things. Currently, a question is being asked in Chi to the user, because during the time the visually impaired person was testing and using the application, I couldn't record, it couldn't
ɛyɛ me
take a
yaw sɛ
voice.
mankyerɛ saa asɛm no koraa mesrɛ wo wobɛtumi ati na ɛwɔ kae no mu.
So in two time, AI couldn't get a request from the visually impaired person. So he asks the person to what? Repeat whatever he is saying, and he will what? Respond and give the right information. Now, when it comes to, we are not taking away the caregiver, but we are making things simpler for the caregiver. So we have the SOS aspect where, in case of an emergency, the visually impaired person gets to just activate it. Then the caregiver gets to be notified. The GPS location of the visually impaired person get to be sent in an SMS format to the caregiver, and the caregiver get to see the exact location of the visually impaired person. This isn't just an application for them to use. This gives them the freedom and the autonomy for them to live an independent life while they still enjoy all the benefits on the platform. They also get to what? Have that bond with their caregiver.
You have no remaining medicines for today.